hello again. Still in Riverside, not still, back in Riverside, not too far from where I live. Idiots are still in fucking FBI house arrest in the apartment above mine. Someone said something like FBI situations like this often take more than a year, and I was just like, so gonna get like heat insulation for my ceiling. I'm gonna get another job. Life is continuing. So I'm trying to continue the situation. And what? So here we are. We're in this situation where, I kind of noticed certain things that happened, little things that happened to me that I couldn't have comprehended, or in the background of my life that I didn't comprehend when I was originally saying this story, might apply to this story. So as I said, I went to high school at this high school called Urban Assembly for Media Studies in the Martin Luther King complex in New York City. Honestly, I kind of still would give it a fairly high, like 4 out of 5 stars, because it didn't pretend to be a normal high school. It taught you how to communicate in the modern, let's say, scenario, and it kind of told us a lot of what was coming and tried to warn us. Lynette was trying to get us to be able to communicate and trust us to state our own perspectives. So today I'm going to tell you a story about a man named Bruce. I don't remember his last name. He was our American history teacher. And a woman named Maureen. Once again, do not remember her last name. She was one of the deans of our high school. So Bruce was like the old white dude. Okay, he was the only old white dude. Dana used to make fun of him, one of my best friends. And he was easy to make fun of. He loved to make fun of himself, and he loved to make fun of people, and it was easy to build a friendship-like relationship with him as an adult. Just like most of the teachers there were easy to be like that with, let alone for such an old man and young people. And let me tell you about this guy, because I have more experience with this guy than with Maureen, because I actually learned American history from this guy. And let me tell you how little I still know about American history. Why? Because a lot of American history, because it is our history, I suppose, they care much more about specific dates. And so I know I'd have failed if it was not for him just going easy on me, telling me answers sometimes. He was a great guy. He was a really great guy. And I'm not good at memorizing things. It's not that even I don't know American history. I just feel like I don't, because precise dates and times. I'm more of a sequence type of person, and these things happen in this order at around this time, comically, and you probably can tell from these videos and how they're sequenced. So yes. So what? So now we're gonna get into Maureen. So first things first. At one point or another, in fact, we're gonna get into Maureen, then we're getting into Bruce, and then we're gonna get into Bruce and Maureen. And you might understand by the end why I'm like, that is a little extra, ain't it? So there was this, not obviously, I don't know if it's obvious to everyone. We used to have school IDs. It wasn't just you had to go through a metal detector, which apparently is normal nowadays, or something. At that point it was just because of the Martin Luther King shooting had happened 10 years earlier, a single shooting, which gave Martin Luther King a bad reputation. We needed IDs. One day, once again, I'm rushed to school. I get there early, and I do not have said ID. And the punishment, the discipline for not having said ID, once you get to school, was missing your first class, which was, I guess, yeah, I think I remember it being like a normal class. Your second class would be like a special class. First class would be like a normal English, math, blah, 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 usually. Point is, one day I get there, I get online, I get to and it's happened before when I was younger, I didn't have my school ID or whatever. There's a young person here, so I might be a little less grr and cursing or whatever. Point is, I get there and Maureen is like waiting for me at the door, not waiting for me necessarily, but like, you don't have your ID? Oh my God, you should have gone back home and gotten your ID. Basically, she's like taking like a good like minute or two out of her life to stare me down about not having my ID, and to try to enforce the idea that this is a super important rule and that I am super duper, irresponsible right now. And I'm just like, you're acting stupid right now. If I had gone home to get my ID, I'd be late, and the exact same punishment would apply, where I would not be able to go to my first class. So the cost is the same, actually, and you're being stupid. And she just said, no, how dare you? You're being... And I used to use that word, and it was really like condescending and obvious what they were doing. They would call you basically disobedient. No, that's not the word though. It means you're being a bad inferior. Yeah, like you're being a bad inferior officer, and I was like, that's creepy. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into Bruce. So one day my mom comes to parent-teacher conference, and Bruce basically, like, apparently makes my mom feel bad, going like, oh, basically you're not challenging him. And she's like, he yelled at me. Okay, and that's like, both those things are things that might happen to a student in high school, So what makes this strange? So as I said, me and Daniel, we were friends with Bruce. We were friends with, we would make friends with the teachers, especially especially by the end when we were seniors, and it was just like, why are we still here? It's like, yeah. The teachers didn't hide much from us. And so by the end, we'd found out that for several months, Maureen had withheld Bruce's check, like his paycheck, for like 6 months or something. And like, it's one thing to go through one thing, and it's another thing to go through another thing. But then the second thing is kind of suspicious. The Maureen thing's kind of suspicious. The Bruce thing's a little weird if you consider like that he was just like giving me the answers in tests and things. And like, oh, and then you think about it and you go, okay, this is the American history teacher, and apparently a terrorist cell of communists has been harassing me and everyone I'm associated with for like 18 years, since I argued with one of them in like the second year of high school on MySpace. And this is like the only old white dude, because all the teachers were younger, and he's the American history teacher, and you're hearing all the shit he goes through for no reason, and like he was stressed as it was. And that's just kind of like a side story again. I'm not sure how much it applies, and I might even film another one today depending on how I feel. Thank you for your time once again.